Tan Sri Hishamuddin Muhammad Yunus, Zahara Ibrahim, and Azahar Muhammad, all three of you Bengkulu judges of the Court of Appeal, you are criminals because you committed breaches of Section 166, Section 217, Section 218, and Section 219 of the Penal Code. Of these, the section that carries the heaviest jail sentence is Section 219, which carries a maximum jail term of 7 years. You three Tan Sris or no Tan Sris, you have, by your own ignorance of the law, committed breaches of the Penal Code that in any normal jurisdiction in the British Commonwealth you will invite, or rather you will be subject to criminal prosecution. I have today stated briefly in the past two video clips the principle of Audi Alteram Partem. Well, I've gone and done some reading up, and I have found the classic case and statement of the full effect, limits and ambit of the principle of Audi Alteram Partem. I have posted it on my channel. It precedes this particular clip that I'm making now, because I wanted all members of Facebook who come to my channel to read what is written in that passage. That is a classic case. It's an Indian case, very well articulated, and it is a foremost authority on the subject. The emphasis of Audi Alteram Partem is that it tempers the rigors of the common law. But in actual fact, to skip all the niceties and all the accurate language that lawyers use, I would say this: the Audi Alteram Partem simply means that both parties' position, both parties' facts must be put before the judge so that he can more accurately assess the responsibilities of the two parties. Well, in my case, why is it that these three judges, in spite of their very senior position, and for that matter, to reach the position of Court of Appeal, they must have put in some donkey's years at the bench, But in spite of that, they made they committed these criminal offences through ignorance, I believe. But the ignorance of the law cannot be pleaded as a defense. So to that extent, whether they are ignorant of it or whether they were out to get my neck, I don't know which, but it doesn't matter. You committed the crime and you got to pay for it. So my efforts in all this time is to get these three Bengkulu judges of the Court of Appeal to face prosecution as they must, because they have broken their oath of office. They have not dealt with my case without bias, without prejudice, and without fear and favor. They have breached their oath of office, and they need to face criminal prosecution. But of course, we all know that in Malaysia, there's one law for Malays, one law for Chinese, one law for government servants, one law for judges, one law for ministers. Everybody got their own law. So nothing works. I mean, if you are in the clique, you get off. You can blow up a beautiful woman with C4 and ask for alternative trial method. I mean, to absolve yourself by swearing on the Quran and say, I didn't do it. That's good enough. But that is not good enough. That is one reason why Malaysia is lawless. I want to see these 3 judges prosecuted. And I pray to God that Pakatan Rakyat will be returned, will form the next government of Malaysia. Then in that case, the Pakatan Rakyat must cleanse the judiciary of all these errant judges, corrupt, incompetent, and biased, and just don't measure up to the normal standards of judges in the former British Commonwealth. Anyway, I hope that you people will realize that the law, enforcement of the law, observance of the law is not a Malay thing or a Chinese thing or anything like that. It is to integrate society into one harmonious whole, so that all of us can live in peace, live in circumstances when we need not fear unlawful prosecution. Anyway, I have invited the 3 retired Court of Appeal judges to give their comments on this. Well, you see, the reason why I say they are criminals is because of Section 166, 217, 218 and 219. Because all these sections states that where a judge commits, or rather write out or delivers a judgment which he knows is wrong in law, then he must face criminal prosecution. And where is it that I charge them with having breached their duty? It is this: at the Court of Appeal level, by the principle of audi alteram partem, both the plaintiff and the defense must have their evidence before the court. My evidence, I pleaded as a defense privilege and truth, that by the truth of my statement and in the circumstances, I am protected by law. I was not given the opportunity to put this defense to the court because Judge Zabaria judged that the statement that I made did not refer to the plaintiff. If the statement does not refer to the plaintiff, then I have committed no defamation. It's nothing to do with Lim and Ho. It's somebody else. So my defense was not called. So when this case went up on appeal, the judges of the Court of Appeal can see from the record, the court record from Judge Zabaria, that no evidence was adduced from me. Another point which is very important to make is that if you call a man a bastard, that doesn't mean you libel him or defame him. The point is the plaintiff must prove that my statement caused them damage. They haven't given any evidence in that respect. So at the Court of Appeal level, no evidence, no relevant evidence went before them, and therefore they could not legitimately form any judgment and award damages against me, because that will be a breach of the principle of audi alteram partem, and therefore vitiate that judgment. I have gone to great lengths to put this before the public, publicize this, so that when my appeal goes up to the federal court, the federal judges must know that the public also know the circumstances of my case, and that they will not be so cavalier about taking sides. Is the federal court so impartial? I don't believe so. But let that be. I do not fear these people, because at the most I have another 3 years to live. Whatever it is, even if you throw me in jail, today if you throw me in jail, I can only suffer 3 years in prison, that's all. But in all probability, I will die even before the case goes up for trial. Anyway, that is my thinking. I will again address you on this subject because it's so important. Malaysia needs to prosecute criminal judges who do not act according to the law, judges who think they are above the law must face prosecution. And I am doing everything I can to bring this to the public, to make this a campaign for just fair treatment in the courts of Malaysia. I will speak to you again. Thank you very much. Bye. Good night.